All right, so it just hit me, like literally 10 seconds before I just said it just hit me. I was so concentrated on the fact that this is a special episode that I have no intro prepared. So let's just jump right into it. All right, welcome everybody to the 2020 ETC Holiday Spectacular, episode 54. Is it? I don't even know anymore. I never know.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Episode 54 of the ETC podcast, episode 14 of season 6, the longest season if you count in terms of recordings. Yes, it is the 2020 ETC Holiday Spectacular. That just seems like a kind of a given phrase. It could be the 2020 ETC Holiday Special, the 2020 ho 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 fat episode. I don't know. Just coming up with things on the spot.
Probably not that last one.
But yes, it is our holiday special, and we've done a holiday special in the past, but it wasn't really branded as a holiday special.
I was going to ask, have we done this before?
The closest thing we've done to this in the past, as far as I can recall, is the list episode. We did a list episode. We did a holiday shopping guide is what we did. So it wasn't a holiday spectacular. It wasn't a ho 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 fat episode. It wasn't that. It was just a shopping guide list episode.
Right.
But yes, it's been a spectacular season. And I'm going to speak on Aaron's behalf, but he can interject if he wants. Like, me and Aaron have been very happy to be back again after an 8-year hiatus. It was awesome to come back. And I feel like we came back strong. Like, we came back really big, new YouTube channel, all this stuff. Speaking of, if you're listening to this, you should probably go and view a bit of the YouTube special, because my wife helped me decorate tonight for this episode.
Yeah.
So got some Christmas lights, a little Santa and his elves, little workshop beside me, a gift from my mom, actually. And Aaron came wearing a kind of a greenish sweater.
Yeah, no lights here, but green sweater. I do have a like Christmas-ish mug thing,
there you go.
Yeah, you need to go watch this on YouTube if you're not already.
Yeah, and subscribe and comment and like. We have a whopping 15 subscribers so far, which to be fair, I'm surprised that we even have that. So that's pretty good. But yes, it's been an awesome year, and on Aaron's advice, we are actually doing a special episode tonight. It's not. I thought we were just literally going to just do a regular episode and then just brand it as our holiday special. But no, this is a legit holiday special tonight.
I mean, I don't actually know what's going to happen, but that's the plan.
Well, okay, so my plan, which again we don't communicate a lot on, but Aaron did come up with this idea. So Aaron, if this episode is bad in any way, you can blame the mastermind, Aaron. But we are not going to do the news. We're not going to do what's on Aaron's noggin. We're going to focus on a semi-list episode. So most of our list episodes are a top 5 of something, but it's not really quite that tonight. It's more of a best 3 thing, or not best 3 things, but something holiday related in each category of the ETC. So we have entertainment, technology, and cars. Me and Aaron are each going to pick kind of our top holiday entertainment item, our top holiday technology item, and our top holiday car item, which that one's going to be.
I'm glad that the way you're explaining it is close to what I had in mind. Remember from last week.
I like how it's so cool, this little Santa thing that my mom got me. It almost looks like a sticker like on the video right now. So it looks like it's superimposed. So I mean, well, I like how now it seems like it's unpredictable if we set out a certain type of episode, what Aaron is going to bring to the table. And it seems like you're like, oh, good thing what I had in mind actually fits what we were planning to do.
Could have gone either way.
Yeah. But before we jump right into it, I wanted to discuss one really small thing before we get going, which is kind of holiday related, end of the year related. Have you gotten your Spotify summary of the year yet? Oh, wait, you don't do Spotify, so you wouldn't get
I have a free account floating around, but
okay.
I might have gotten it, but I don't think I would use it enough for that summary to be useful. Yeah.
Does Apple do do they do a kind of like you know what this is, right? It's like they kind of summarize all your.
Why don't you explain? Because
so FDK Spotify. If you subscribe to Spotify or you have a free Spotify account, at the end of the year they've been doing this really cool thing where they summarize your listening kind of behavior over the last year, and it's really cool because they kind of put it in like we're complaining about how Twitter was doing it was fleets, right? The Twitter stories basically. Yeah. So Spotify, I guess, is going into this realm as well, or they had at one point.
I thought like anytime I see these announcements, you're talking about Spotify doing some sort of like story type thing, right? Is that what you're referring to? I always think it's a joke now because there's just like it's a bit of like a everyone just jokes like, oh, everyone's just like, who's gonna copy Snapchat now?
Yeah.
But they're really doing this, right? Like I didn't dig into it. I didn't know if it was real or not.
Well, here's the thing I can't figure out, because I think in previous years your kind of end of the year summary was in some kind of Instagram style thing. Okay. And I don't know if it was directly in Spotify or if they sent you something that linked you to Instagram or something like that. But I believe in the past, I could be wrong, but I think in the past it was kind of this summary was delivered in some kind of story-like way. But for sure this year it's delivered in a story-like way. And it's really cool because they basically go through like, oh, 2020 was a crazy year. Here was the song that you streamed the most. Here are the genres that you listened to the most. Here's the album that you listened to the most. Here are the top 5 podcasts that you listen to, and incidentally, the ETC podcast was number 1 on my list. And they even said that you had a ETC marathon. You listened to 5 episodes in one day or something like that, which is not true. I might have I hit play on 5 of them, but I did not listen to 5 in a row. As much as I do listen to our own podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all my top composers of the year, all my top artists of the year are just soundtrack composers because I listen to a lot when I work.
Yeah.
But the one thing that they did get right, which I thought was really true, was my song of the year. Even though it's been a long time since I listened to the song, it had the most plays, and I would actually consider it probably one of my songs of the year, which didn't come out this year, by the way. It probably came out a long time ago. It was kind of during my whole tropical house pop EDM phase, which I'm kind of still in, not really. But there's a song called Bye Bye by Griffin featuring I don't know the artist. It's like Alvaro or something like that. I can't remember the person that sings in it. But anyways, really good song. That's not the point. The end of the year list. This conversation doesn't make much sense anymore because you don't get that. So, but it is a cool little thing that you get with Spotify. I'm sure Apple Music's going to do something like it. To follow suit at some point. So.
I do like those. I'm trying to remember. I've had a few services and apps send that. I think Foursquare, if you're familiar with. I mean, I still use it. Kind of
really?
this year because it for those that don't know, it originally started as an app to check in when you're going places, right? So you go to like a restaurant or wherever. But when I travel, I actually find it really useful for 2 purposes. One, when you're in a new city, you can kind of discover places to go, things to see, things to eat. And the recommendations are pretty good. Like they're a little bit more I guess like original and truthful than, because usually you'd go on Yelp or Google or something, and those can be a bit untrustworthy sometimes. You don't really know if it's going to be what you like. So I've always used to travel, and they used to send, maybe they still do, an end of year, like here's all the places you've been, right? Like your favorite coffee shop, if you went to different countries. I always found that really cool, like how many kilometers you travel, things like that.
Yeah, it's so cool. It is really cool, and I mean, it is the kind of benefit of giving up all our data to somebody, right? It is. It's a nice thing. Because what I also found cool about the Spotify one is like the way they constructed it. It's like they play the music, and it's like nice graphics and everything like that. Right? It's really, really cool. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't know I didn't know Foursquare was still kind of.
They used to do that. I don't know if they do that anymore, but yeah.
Right. Okay. So let's jump into our list episode. So, like I said, but Aaron concocted, we are going to do our. I don't know if it's top fond memory, whatever, but we're going to mention something. One holiday entertainment item, one holiday technology item, and one holiday car item. Now, I think the way I've done this in the past is I've kind of asked you for yours, and then I asked for mine, and then I kind of close off the episode. I thought, like, I should be a little fair on this. Like, why don't we flip it today? I'll go first. I'll go first, and then you do yours.
Yeah.
And I thought we would do it in entertainment, technology, car order, because I feel like those are go from most obvious to least obvious. Like entertainment, a lot of people have holiday entertainment items and objects and things they have. People probably think a little bit less about holiday stuff when it comes to technology.
Yeah.
And I feel like people definitely think I'll be very interested to hear what your holiday.
So the episode's just gonna slowly get worse and worse as we progress. Yeah.
Either worse and worse or more interesting and more interesting, because people will be like, oh yeah, that's an interesting item. Or like this has nothing to do with holidays or cars or whatever. So okay, so let's start with holiday entertainment item.
Yes.
So first of all,
yes, Casey, what is flip this around? What is your
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Entertainment related I don't know what we're calling it. Top memory thing.
This is good. I'm giving you practice on hosting.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of mediating this.
This will be the last time.
Okay, so my holiday. So first of all, my caveat is that I didn't give this a ton of thought. But what I did give it thought to, at least this specifically this category, is I didn't want to give something obvious, right? There's a lot of obvious things out there, and I kind of want to mention something that's not so obvious that people might not have come across or whatever, right? So, when it comes to entertainment, I think a lot of people think about music. A lot of people think about movies, TV shows, these kind of things, right? And so when it comes to movies and TV shows, I think there's a lot of obvious kind of contenders in there. A lot of people think about, Muppets Christmas Carol, Miracle on 34th Street, A Christmas Story, Home Alone, all awesome movies, and I love them. I love watching them at Christmas. Tim Allen's Santa Claus has made its way into my family, last couple of years, like watching a lot of Santa Claus. So lots of fun stuff like that. And then when it comes to TV shows, obviously, there's like, Simpsons Christmas specials, Charlie Brown Christmas is a big one, obviously. Right. And even the kind of movies that are played on TV a lot, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Sound of Music, these kind of things. Right.
Yeah.
So all those are the obvious ones, I think. And so I didn't want to mention those, even though I love all those and those are all musts. And I would even say, interestingly enough, like things like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings are kind of becoming Christmassy watching things. Especially Lord of the Rings, because it kind of came out around Christmas, and then Harry Potter or whatever.
Yeah.
So these are the obvious ones, and I could go on and go on.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna focus my attention on something that's not so obvious. And I think that the reason this is not so obvious is because I think people our age, they love these shows, but they have fallen off kind of keeping up with them, right? And so I'm talking about kind of Fox prime time Sunday night kind of stuff, right? Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad, Futurama.
Okay.
These kind of cartoons, right? I think a lot of people our age love those shows. But I feel like a lot of people our age also just didn't keep up with them, right? Like stopped kind of watching them.
Right.
But I still
some of them are still going, right? Some of them aren't, but
yes, most of them are. Like American Dad, Family Guy, Simpsons, Futurama's not, but like a lot of them still are.
Yeah.
And I still very religiously watch them. And I'll be honest, this is the first year that I haven't really kept up, but I still, want to, right? So the one I'm going to mention that has genuinely become something that I love now watching at Christmas, because I think it's an episode that really captures kind of the holiday. I don't know. It kind of captures the old school holiday spirit in terms of holiday specials, even though it's got some kind of modern day stuff. But it's Family Guy. So Family Guy, and this is a long time ago, actually. This episode is now 8 years old, actually. So season 9, episode 7, they have a episode called Road to the North Pole. So this kind of falls in line with Brian and Stewie's road to various, they go road to Vegas, road to India. They have Road to Rhode Island. They have all these kind of like Road to episodes, and this is Road to the North Pole. And there's so much that's amazing in this episode. I think the music's amazing. It feels like, again, like a kind of classic holiday movie. It's got great music. The jokes are typical Family Guy, really funny stuff, but it's also got some heartwarming stuff. I don't know, just the whole episode is really interesting. And I think people should give it a chance, because nowadays when I throw on Charlie Brown Christmas, Home Alone, Santa Claus, whatever, I also want to watch this episode of Family Guy, Road to the North Pole. It just feels so good, and it's got a great story, and again, kind of classic. Like, I think that's the thing about Family Guy. They do homages really well, right? And I think it's basically a bunch of people in the writer's room who are about our age who love the old school stuff. So they just basically made almost like an homage to that. So Road to the North Pole, season 9, episode 7 of Family Guy. You could
it is a Christmas theme, holiday theme. Like, sorry, I haven't watched it. I don't think I've watched it. So
it's basically about it's I'm not gonna give away too much, but it's basically about Brian telling Stewie that kind of like telling him that maybe Santa Claus is not real, and it's about Stewie kind of basically wanting to go and hunt down the real Santa Claus, but literally hunt down. Like he wants to kill. Maybe I have
seen this. What season did you say?
Season 9. I mean, it's like 8 years ago.
Okay, so yeah, I might have seen this. This sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Okay,
but definitely rewatch. I think it's available on Netflix. Netflix does have Family Guy. I assume they have back to season 9. So if you're in Canada and you have Netflix, definitely check out Family Guy, season 9, episode 7, Road to the North Pole. Awesome Christmas.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
All right.
Cool. This is good that, again, I feel like I'm very surprised how on the same page we are. Right. So I have a few things here just to mention, and then I'll get to my, I guess, whatever it is, not the top one, but like I said, maybe the non-obvious. So I'll start with something I've never seen, but I've always wanted to see. Have you seen the Star Wars like holiday special, Christmas special thing?
It's so funny. So me and Bretton were just talking about this the other night.
This exists, right? Like, I'm not making this up, right? Like,
this is the question that we had. Bretton asked me, like, is there some kind of Star Wars holiday special? And I was like, I'm not sure. And I was like, I was thinking, is there a droid? I don't know if you remember, this is an 80s cartoon called Droids, which was like basically C-3PO and R2-D2. Okay. And I thought there might have been a Droids Christmas special, but I don't know. I'm
pretty sure, and I think it is a TV thing, so I don't think it's like a full-fledged movie or anything like that. But I think this exists. I think but I have no evidence because I've never watched it, and I didn't bother doing any research if this exists or not. But
is this your thing?
No, I'm like going through the things that came to mind. This one was strange because it's like, like I've always wanted to, but I never have. So maybe this is the year that I track that down and watch that or something. You mentioned a few things, like I think, like Home Alone, one of my favorites. I'm a big fan of Die Hard. I am on the like Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
So is Bretton.
It is because it's time in terms of like the plot, right? And when it's set, it's around Christmas. So I think that counts.
I still haven't technically seen Die Hard.
Any of them, or just that first one?
I mean, I've seen the later ones, which apparently are not as good as the earlier ones, but I actually like the later ones. So,
I think they've mostly been good. I mean, the first one is that classic. It's 90s, right? I think like the first like the classic sort of 90s action movie where you have all these, like there's a lot of violence and like they're just solid, but you get like a lot of corny kind of villains and lines and stuff. But Die Hard solid. But the my pick here, and again, I was going off what has been memorable that is entertainment related and associated, or I associate with this holiday season. And it's one that you and I have talked about missing this year because we've had a good streak, I think, the last 6 years, right? Previously, which is the last 6 Star Wars movies.
Oh, right? Yes.
And them being released, basically, it's usually like the week before, right? A week before, I guess, like Christmas. And for the last 6 years.
Is it the last 6 years? Which ones with episode 7, 8, 9? And then like Rogue One and Solo as well.
I want to say, yeah, I want to say there's been maybe not 6, but
yeah.
I feel like at least 4 or 5.
You know what it was? I think it was 6 years, but like, cause didn't they come out every 2 years? Was that the deal?
I feel like there was a movie, almost a Star Wars movie with Rogue One and Solo.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to rain on your parade.
It's like 6. You're right. It's like the time frame is about 6 years, but I don't know if every year was. Yeah, you're right. But it's become a bit of like a bit of a tradition. I always love that they release it around this time because it's just like it's a great time of year, and then they've been doing that in the last few years. It's felt like a bit of a kind of something you look forward to and tradition. And it was just great. We I think made it opening night pretty much all of them, right? Or most of them.
Yeah, I mean, again, thanks to you. I mean, for our audience, I'm gonna say FTK, but I'm pretty sure no one knows this. But like me and Brent have been super lucky because normally you have to like be the first online line up for these tickets or buy these tickets online, like whatever. And for the past 3 movies, 7, 8, 9, Aaron will just randomly text us and say, "Hey, buying some tickets for Star Wars. You want some?" Like, yes, definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, it's as far as gifts or presents go. I mean, I feel like it's a win-win all around. It's a type of thing you want to go with friends and see, right? And so it's it can be messy trying to coordinate. When you're trying to rush to get tickets and wanting to sit by each other and stuff. But yeah, it's always been special because I went with friends and tried to get a few of us to go at the same time. They've usually always also done some sort of fan special thing. Usually they give out a little postcard or something because it's opening night. So yeah, it's been kind of a bit of a tradition that I've been missing this year. But yeah, that's, I think, at least in recent memory, that's been kind of what I associate the most with entertainment. And
it's so true. And like the last couple times we were with your brother and we kind of meet at like Jack Astor's before going there.
Yeah, it's a whole night, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, and I mean, it wasn't quite midnight premiere, but I mean, it usually is like 10 or 11, leading up, and they've been really good movies too, right? Which has been awesome. And like, that's definitely been an awesome memory, over the last couple of years. And yeah, so I mean, I think that's the thing with like, again, how Lord of the Rings kind of made its way in there as well. It's just like stuff that you kind of associate like seeing around Christmas time or whatever, right? So definitely awesome memory, and I'll thank you publicly on air for definitely involving us in that for sure. So okay, that's the holiday entertainment item. We will throw out a request to our friend Rob in Alberta if he can confirm or deny that there is a Star Wars special.
Yes, someone write to us.
Who actually knows?
Yeah.
He always tells me about this He-Man holiday special, which apparently is just like so ridiculous. But yeah, I'll definitely see if there's a holiday Star Wars special. Okay, so you're driving this.
All right.
Wait. I think we need to take a break.
All right, are we taking a break? Yeah, I wasn't quite sure.
Taking a break.
Okay, cool. Yes, we're gonna take a break.
Okay.
All right, so we're back from the break.
Nice.
That was a really terrible transition into the break. This is not any better coming out of the break, but we're back. And in case you're just joining, I don't know why you'd join in the middle of the episode, but in case you're just joining, we're doing a special holiday episode, and so we just talked about very special entertainment related memories in the holidays, and now we're on to the second letter in our podcast. 3 letters. Technology. So
we gotta get you mediating these episodes more often. This is good stuff. Do you want to let people know if they want to contact us?
Oh yes, I feel like I don't have it memorized like you do. So do we have any? We don't have any from last week, do we?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, that's sad, but also makes my job right now like a lot easier because I actually don't know. I didn't check.
Yeah.
So relying on you to do that. But yeah, if you want to contact us, there's very, very diverse ways you could do that. So let's start with like the oldest way, the most kind of old school way. Email. What is it? What is the email?
podcast.etc
Yes.
gmail.com.
Yeah. So please email us. But you can also do things like leave us a voice message, which it's my favorite way of hearing from people. And so
Yeah.
that's on our website. Anchor website, right?
Booyah.
Yeah.
Anchor.fm/the-etc-podcast. To be fair, I mean, all these are kind of not standardized, right? Like the Anchor FM one is
Yeah, they're all different.
the-etc-podcast. And the email is podcast. This is what happens when you're not a big enough brand to afford all these proper names and domains and stuff. So.
Exactly. Like the easiest way is probably just comment on some form of social media. So Twitter, YouTube, those are all good. Yeah, I think that covers most of it.
Yes.
So, move technology. What is? I'm curious to hear what you have in mind for technology related holiday things.
So this one bleeds into the entertainment one a little bit, but I feel like it still qualifies as technology because it does provide a better means of what it is. So, okay, so one thing I started doing in the last, So the reason this is technology based is because technology changed this in the last 3 or 4 years. So let's say rewind 3 or 4 years. And I'd say for the last 5 years before that so, there was this kind of tradition that I started doing for myself. So I started, I mean, maybe even longer than that, because I also remember doing this in university a bit. So it was quite a while. But around Christmas time, consistently, I actually started buying Christmas albums. It's kind of started with those kind of chapters Indigo things. I heard a really awesome Indigo holiday jazz album. And I bought it as Wicked compilation. And then so every year I started buying more and more Christmas albums. And then for a while I started kind of saying to myself, oh, every year I buy a Christmas album. Okay. And, it would kind of range from holiday jazz to kind of holiday classics, all this stuff like that. And for a while I definitely enjoyed it, but there definitely was a small part of me that was like, oh, this kind of makes me a little bit unique, that I buy these albums. But there's a part of it now that's like, you know what, who cares? Like this is something that we should share with the world and everybody should be a part of. And what I love and what my technology item is that the advent of things like Apple Music and Spotify has made this really, really easy.
Yes.
So Spotify, and Apple Music, my technology item basically is the holiday playlists that they put together. It's so quick now to just do like holiday jazz, holiday classics, whatever, and start playing it. And they're awesome compilations, right? There were like 2 of my favorite Christmas like jazz albums were on there. I remember I bought them off of iTunes actually. So even that was really great. And it was like $10 each. And now that they're free, it's just like, it doesn't even matter. I just throw them on. I follow them sometimes on my phone and download them on my phone and have them in my car. Right. And I think it adds so much. Like it's always something like, I always love it when I decide at work to, change my background to a Christmas background and then put on like Christmas music to work to. And that started like about a week ago. I didn't change my background, but I definitely started playing Christmas music. And I just love how Spotify has made that super simple, or again, Apple Music does the same thing, like Christmas jazz. Actually, and with Google Assistant and everything, it's like, hey, play some Christmas jazz. And it adds, I find, like music is obviously definitely varying degrees for everybody. But for me, it's one of the biggest mood setters, right? If you have the right music, like Christmas, like totally is just, it feels like Christmas, right? When you put that music on. So Spotify Christmas playlists.
Yeah. So it's more about it's not about like, it wasn't about buying the albums necessarily. It was the fact that it was, the time of year, music for the time of year, I guess.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and I'm a sucker for all, like, I love how like the radio stations all turn to that stuff and like the malls play all that music. Like I don't love it when they play it too early, but I do love that music. So I love, like, I have it at home, I have it at work, have it in my car, all that stuff. So
yeah. Awesome.
Cool.
All right. So this was also kind of memory based, thinking back in terms of what technology related things have kind of stuck in my memory as just associating with this time of year, and I guess good memories. And I think the one thing that stands out, and I think it's also a little bit of a like takes me back to childhood. And I think as we get older, Christmas is still a thing, but definitely when you're younger, it feels like a much bigger event, right? Like
Totally.
It just feels like when we were younger, it seemed like it lasted so long, and
totally.
You really got excited about it. And one of the reasons I can think of, at least for in two instances, and this is what my technology item is first the Sega Dreamcast launch.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you remember, but that was, I think it launched just at the end of November, but essentially my memory of that is getting it just before the holidays. And then basically my like memory of that holidays is just playing Dreamcast. And I don't know if you remember, like, I think there weren't that many games to start. I think like Soul Calibur was one of them.
I think it actually came out in September, but I mean.
Was it September?
It launched 9/9/99. That's the thing.
Yes.
Like September 9th, 1999. That was the kind of the big deal.
Yeah.
But either way, it was that holiday season. That people were getting it. So
So that's just like sticks in my memory as you got it just in time to enjoy it over the holidays. And
totally.
Love that. And I think that the original Xbox was a very similar story as well. I think it came out, again, I don't know which month specifically, but very, very close to the holiday period.
Holiday
and
season,
that's kind of the memory of that from the holiday season. So
it's totally,
go
ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I kind of miss, that I feel like that's hard because I don't know. I guess you could have done it now. I guess, the Xbox and the PlayStation just launched, but I don't know. I don't think I don't think I would have that same feeling going back to, when I was younger and that kind of like atmosphere. There's just something about, I think, combination of, you were still young enough to be in that mindset that I'm going to spend my holidays playing video games, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, I think there's an aspect of it too, where like you're so young that you probably wouldn't go buy it yourself. Like I feel like nowadays it's like we're so old that like PlayStation or Xbox, like we're probably buying ourselves. It's like it, and we have the capacity to buy it ourselves. Like I feel like back in the day with the video game machines, right? It's like, am I gonna get it? And it's your parents who are gonna get it for you. And I totally agree with you because like that's exactly why the Super Nintendo made my list, when we did that list episode a couple months ago, that's exactly it. I got for Christmas. And it was totally. Just like the whole holiday just playing, the games that came with it or whatever, right? Or that we got with it or whatever. Yeah. Right. So no, that's
and you just don't, I think also, with your friend, like the other thing is I just remember it's a shared experience, right? I think when you're younger, because and I'm sure people still do it now when they're older, but if I went out and got a new, PlayStation or Xbox, even, if we're doing an online thing, it just doesn't feel the same. Like I think, when I got the Dreamcast, I would just play that for hours and like with friends, right? Have them over, and it was just we made a whole day out of it, right?
Totally.
You're just not gonna like get a bunch of your friends over. Now it is harder, right? I think when you get older, you're not gonna get a bunch of friends together and just play a video game console, like two games, right? For a whole day, right? So
well, and I don't want to misconstrue this statement, but like I think when you get older, right? The Christmas gets exciting for different reasons. Like you shift your mentality, right? Like it's less about the possessions, it's less about the gifts. It is more about like seeing friends, seeing family, the kind of atmosphere and stuff like that. The gifts really don't become really that important anymore, right? But when you're younger, I mean, that was a pretty big deal. Like what were you gonna get, right? And when you went over to your friend's place, what did they get, right? Like I remember when your family would come over to our family for like Christmas, and it's like, oh, what did you get? Oh, what did you get? It's like, oh, sweet, you got that. Oh, let me play it out, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And that lasted like kind of into high school even, right? Like, so I feel like it was so exciting. Like, oh, like you got, the Dreamcast. Oh, you got that game. Awesome. Let's try it out. Let's play it or whatever, right? So, I mean, definitely, I feel like the mentality is shifted as you get older, and you kind of lose that love of the possessions. And again, that's why I don't want to misconstrue the statement, because that's probably a good thing that you're not so, possession focused.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was really exciting to get something like.
But I mean, even like, just thinking back though, maybe it wasn't even about the thing, right? I think, again, the biggest the most enjoyable part of that was, again, being able to share that experience with friends and have a reason to kind of just like hang out and geek out about, something and just, be obsessed with games for like a few days. Right. So, I think it's like, it's funny how, thinking back those best memories, because again, like there's plenty of things that, I'm sure were great that I associate in terms of, material things, I guess, that you would get around the holidays. But for some reason, my memory goes back to that. And I think it's because they were more of like a shared kind of experience, right? And that's why it sticks in my mind. Is a lot of my best memories are not playing by myself, right? But playing with others. And I think the Dreamcast was also really great just for that shared experience, right? There's so many games that were really good multiplayer things, or, I had House of the Dead, right, with light guns, and you could play with a few people. Yeah. So I think it was just those are the things that I remember, those kind of shared experiences. But yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I've talked to you. I'm sure I've talked to you about this before, but like for sure, like the number one memory for me of Christmas was that kind of heyday. And this is really a very specific to me and Aaron thing. Well, actually, no. There's a couple of people who listen to this podcast who might have been part of this. No, it's who we're definitely a part of this. Sorry, but there was the heyday of like Pembroke families, where again it was like 4 or 5 families that we would all basically see each other every day because each of those families had a Christmas party.
Yeah,
and we'd
Stray,
all
like
these same
in a row. Yeah,
and we just have 5 amazing dinner parties in a row with all the same people every night. Just hanging out, and it was like definitely the highlight. And so like, I mean that part. I mean, it's definitely a part of me that I feel sad about because all of our families kind of moved to different places now, and we're all in different cities, and so that doesn't really happen anymore. But yeah, that definitely like. 30, 40 people getting together every day for like 5 days and just eating amazing food and like, such an amazing time.
That's what the holidays is all about, just playing Dreamcast and dinner parties for
it's so true.
5 days straight.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, right. So
I feel like you're waiting for me to move on.
We arrive at our final category. This is where it gets interesting because I'm very curious to see where we take this. I'm curious if our item is the same item. I doubt it, but that would be that would be interesting.
Yes.
So the topic that we don't, I feel like the lowest proportion of our content. Which is the C, which is cars. What do you have on your list for holiday-related car thing?
Yes, holiday-related car stuff. Yeah, we definitely have had very little car news, even though I find myself getting back into car news a bit. I just watched. Did you watch that Chris Harris GT3 video?
So good.
Oh, so good, right? So crazy.
We can post a link to this, but I love that format of video because again, it's there's a lot of just like the typical car review content out there. Yeah. But that video was just two car nerds hanging out for like an hour, right? And it just happened to be surrounded by some of the best cars, my favorite cars, in the world. But it was just two guys hanging out, right? Just chatting about, their love of cars and going off on tangents. And it was very unstructured. You just felt like, well, hopefully maybe it's like people that listen to this, maybe it's giving too much credit, but you're kind of hanging out with them, right? Like you're kind of just...
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. Okay, my holiday car item. So first of all, this is something that you introduced me to.
Okay.
That's not really a surprise, as a massive chunk of the car world, Aaron did introduce me to. So this is something that I always associate with more, I'd say, winter than holiday, but I guess holidays are winter. Yep. And on several occasions, I bought this as gifts. And I think they would make great gifts. And they used to kind of be a little bit of a hidden gem. They are now very popular, I think, and everybody knows about them. But when you introduced them to me, they were quite a hidden gem. And I felt like I was kind of a big shot when I introduced them to other people because it was a hidden gem.
I actually don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Okay. What I'm talking about is WeatherTech mats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
FDK WeatherTech mats are basically, laser measured, and then cut weather mats for your car. And the big advantage of them is that they're, custom molded to the various models of cars that exist out there. So this is something that Aaron introduced me to a while back, and I've bought them for every car I've owned now. And they're amazing. And I've bought them for a couple of my parents' cars, and they're a little bit on the expensive side. They're $200, for a set of 4, Canadian, but they are, I think they're super useful. You feel like you're taking care of your car because, again, custom molded to your car, you feel great. And they're just like, I don't know, they're just super good. And I kind of associate them obviously with winter because they're weather mats, and it is something that I've come to now take them out when it's not winter and put them in when they're winter. Right. And again, I think it's something that if you don't know about it, you should definitely check them out. WeatherTech mats, and a little tip: if you buy them, don't forget the bag of little anchors that come in the box. Do not throw them out, because there's been a couple times when I've thrown them out, and it is a pretty dangerous experience to not have those anchors in your car. So,
like the mat just slides around.
Yeah,
while you're driving.
and then it deforms too, which is crazy. Like the plastic starts to deform. But if you do happen to throw those out, if you write WeatherTech, they will send you a couple for free. So,
I was not expecting that, but that is okay. That's I mean, but you said like I'm assuming maybe it's a little bit more holiday related. Have you given other people these mats for Christmas?
I can't remember if it's for Christmas or not.
Yeah.
I actually don't think it was for
we'll
Christmas.
We'll just say yes. Hopefully no one is listening that can,
exactly.
invalidate that. That's good. So I have 2 things on here, and I think I'll first mention the first one, which I'm pretty certain we've talked about it on a previous ETC episode. This is not new. It's like, so I think we have talked about this, but every time I think about holidays and cars, I think we've talked about this. Did you know that Hertz and Porsche at some point released a $1 million advent calendar? I think we've talked about this, but if not, I'm gonna bring it up again.
Yeah, I don't know if we have. If we had, it was definitely not season 6. Yeah, I don't know if I've heard of this.
Yeah, and so
$1 million.
Yeah, I think it was just like they only did it 1 year, but so an advent calendar every day of I guess from beginning of December to Christmas, right? I think is what it is. You get a new thing, and I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with a chocolate advent calendar.
Yes.
Where you have chocolate every day. Well, if for whatever reason you have, everything in life, and you're like, okay, what do I get, myself or someone, that I really care about, for advent calendar instead of the typical, chocolate. And back in 2000, I don't know, 5 or something, you could go to Hertz and Porsche and get this $1 million advent calendar, which includes.
I'm very what's the word I'm looking for? Like I'm holding my breath for what the contents of this are.
So a lot of the things are inside of it, but some of the things like can't fit. So it's a pretty crazy. I'll share the link.
But how big is it physically? Yeah,
it is at least a few feet high. It's just 1.75 meters high. Okay. And it's this really beautiful, like huge cube, basically, like, nice metal and glass and everything. And there's just basically the display chambers, and some of them have the thing directly in it. So there's 18 karat gold watches and cufflinks and things like that. But it gets a little bit more ridiculous. I think it includes a 911 maybe somewhere.
I was gonna say, for the $1 million,
right?
I would hope one of the items is a car.
But I think the craziest item is a yacht. So it's a 18 meter yacht, I think. But there's in the display case, it's just a picture of it, but then there's a key to it. It's a small yacht. It's not like a huge yacht, as far as yacht goes, like I know anything about yachts, but yeah, that is the craziest thing in there. You actually get a straight up boat as part of one of the advent calendar squares.
You almost like you forget how far $1 million actually goes, right? Like you think the word $1 million in Porsche, you're actually not going to get that much beyond a car. Like like the last item is going to be a car, but then everything else in between is going to be like small things. You forget that $1 million.
Yeah,
you could get a 911 and a 18-foot yacht. Yeah, that's
exactly.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, so those are. I mean, there's a whole bunch. Obviously, there must be 25 things or 24 things rather. But yeah, there's, I don't know if they made another one, but if you are, interested in that, maybe give them a call. Maybe they'll put together $1 million advent calendar for you. So
next year we'll do our list of like top 5 gifts, like under $1 million, under 800,000, under 600,000,
under $1 million,
under 400,000, under $200,000. Yeah.
So for whatever reason, that I always remember that just because I think as ridiculous as this is, I feel like there's a whole untapped category. Maybe as I haven't seen it of like really cool advent calendars, right? Because there must be something in between. Maybe like there's got to be something in between the $10 chocolate calendars and the $1 million Porsche calendar.
It's interesting because Breton actually is very invested in a lot of these kind of special ones. So for a couple of years now, she's done the Body Shop Advent Calendar.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so it's definitely more expensive than a $10 chocolate calendar.
Yeah.
But you basically get like Body Shop like soaps and fragrances and all this stuff like that. And they're quite big. They're like they're pretty huge and they have like really fancy design and stuff like that. I wouldn't say halfway between. I think they're about like $100, $200 somewhere sitting in there.
Okay. And it's functional and use, like I'm assuming you can use all the things, like it's something that
and I think there's another company that she mentioned that she was considering getting. I couldn't remember, but there's definitely like these kind of
I saw a really cool coffee
calendars.
one.
Recently,
which is a different coffee.
There might be a
day.
David's tea one. There might be a David's tea one.
Yeah. So I feel like there should be more of that because I kind of like that. It combines something that you can use, right?
Yeah.
And again, it makes the whole season more of an event, right? Because it's not just a one-time thing. You get to enjoy it across the. So
I would love an Apple Advent Calendar where literally every device like
well they have almost as many
iPad.
like variations of iPhones to get through half the month probably at this point, right? So.
yeah, exactly.
So that I always always comes to mind, but not a personal memory because newsflash, I did not actually purchase this, so I missed out. They're all sold out, so I can.
That's Aaron's guilt trip to everybody who ever bought Aaron a Christmas gift. That why didn't you get him that $1 million
exactly
advent calendar? Yeah,
exactly. But no, my pick here, my memory here, whatever it is, it's actually much simpler, which is just I associate holidays and cars specifically with just, and I feel like this has dropped off over the last little while, but just the act of transport, just getting to places and going places. And, it's always special because like, I think, not as much anymore, but I have really good memories, especially, when I was in university and things like that. Especially sometimes I'd have an exam almost right to, the last day, like on the 23rd or whatever it is. And then just like, cool, like time to go, right? Like pack up, get in a car, and then go back. So yeah, I think there's something, I have fond memories of just the act of kind of going somewhere, going home or somewhere, right? And a car enables that, right? And I think that's a really good kind of like, fond memory that I've had, not any particular year, but over the years.
Yeah, it's I totally agree with you on that. Like even nowadays, like nowadays, like the last couple of years, obviously not in 2020, but taking the drives to visit my family, to visit Breton's family, like these kind of things. I start to enjoy the drive more, right? And it's just like something that was like part of the fun, even though it's long and tiring and stuff like that. And the holidays, you're right. It is always this thing of like, like you're driving and most of the time you can't get out before 4 p.m. So it's like kind of dark a little bit. And then you kind of, it's nice kind of arriving, in Pembroke with like Christmas lights, around and stuff like that, or wherever you're going. But it's also married a little bit with some like what's the word I'm looking for? Like anxiousness because there's like always freezing rain or a snowstorm or and
Which,
but you know what's
yeah
but you know what's interesting about that is that also brings like Christmas memories to me, like literally having the Weather Network on TV in the morning is like such a Christmas memory to me, because it was always like, we got to watch the Weather Network to decide if we're going to go to Ottawa today to do shopping, Boxing Day shopping or something like that, right? It's like, like just having the Weather Network on or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So.
Yeah, and I mean on that, obviously, it's not endorsing driving in bad weather, but I am a big fan. Like I'm actually one of those weird people that I like storms, and I like driving through inclement weather. Just because again, it kind of like makes you kind of really be in the moment, right? Like, because when the weather's good, you can almost kind of shut off, and you're just kind of not paying attention. But yeah, I like a good snowstorm, and driving through that has always been kind of enjoyable. Knock on wood, no accidents or anything like that. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely an awesome one. So, okay, do you want to close off the episode, or do you want me to?
I mean, is that it? Like, I guess we've gone through all of it. Is there anything else? Anything else that you want to say about the last season that we're coming to an end with, or even just about the holidays?
Yeah, I genuinely love that we're back, and we're back in full fledged. I'm happy that we found a way to do this, in 2020. Technology wise, this worked out really quite well, to be able to do this remotely. And what I like is that, it's a project that, again, I feel like the last couple of years of my life have really been dictated by my job. And, we've talked about this, and I realized this last year, and it kind of started around this time in 2019, that I don't want to define myself by my job and by my career opportunities and my business growth and all that stuff. I feel like I got very caught up in that in the last 8 years. And although I'm still very passionate about my business and all that stuff, I like getting back to things that I'm just doing for the sake of the fact that I like doing them and I have fun doing them, and there's no business goal in mind. And, a lot of times that ends up turning out better stuff anyways, right?
Yeah,
but totally. When you don't focus on that. And I feel like this year, I love getting back to my music and doing live streams and stuff like that. But one of the things that I loved this year was getting back to the podcast. It was a really easy thing to get back into, and I feel like we've kind of kept the spirit alive of the podcast, and it has me excited to continue it, going forward. So it's been a really awesome season, and I think it's an awesome way to cap it off, because I feel like it's a good time for a break. Not to mention that, I love the holidays, and I love talking about the holidays on this episode. So, just super, super pumped about what we've done, in the last 14 episodes or so. And I'm very pumped that we're not deciding to stop. Like, we're going to be back in January, February sometime, and do another season. So.
Yeah, no, totally. I totally agree. I think, when we started doing it again, obviously, again, it's been a strange year, and being at home and, just having less things that we would normally, like even last year, we would actually go somewhere and get together regularly every now and then, right? So I think just initially this being a great way just to have something creative and fun, to look forward to and kind of do that on a regular basis. But super awesome that then it's like, I feel like we actually leveled it up, and people were listening and, engaging with us, writing into us, things like that. That's really cool too, because it's, I think indicates that we're not just doing whatever, like picking up what we were doing previously. We're kind of trying out some different stuff, and I think it's gotten a little better because of that. But super, super happy just to the fact that people do listen as well. That's really cool, because again, this is a weird year. Maybe we aren't connecting as much as previous years. So even though this is very direct and roundabout, that you're listening to this at a completely different time, and I don't know if you're listening or not. It's still good, right? It's still cool. It's another way to connect, maybe in this kind of strange year where it's been difficult to do that.
Definitely. So yeah, so you know, as we close off here, we definitely want to give a big shout out to you know, we know we have a small audience, but we really appreciate everybody listening and subscribing. You know, we get roughly 20 to 30 plays every episode, and you know, realistically, I would enjoy doing this for just me and Aaron. And you know, sometimes it feels like that, like when we're talking about, you know, Pembroke memories and stuff like that, even though, again, a good chunk of our audience is from Pembroke anyways. But, you know, big thanks to the people who do listen every day. And, you know, I was surprised to hear that, you know, people would take the time to watch, you know, the YouTube videos and things like that. And then, you know, what's really nice is that we kind of even grew, you know, there was that one video that got like, you know, 300 or so, 400 views, you know, to people who definitely were not connected to, which is really great. Yeah. So, and then another big special shout out to everybody who wrote in. You know, people like Andrea who were like regularly writing in, people who left voice messages. I don't want to name everybody because I'm gonna forget people, but you know, really appreciate the people who left the voice messages. You know, and people who tweeted at us and followed us and all this stuff like that. It's been awesome. It really has been awesome. Like I said, I mean, I do this for my personal enjoyment, and I'm sure Aaron does as well, but it does amp it up, the excitement when there is engagement, no question about that. So yeah, really big thanks to everybody. You know, we're not gonna be gone for too long. You know, again, follow us on Twitter, on YouTube, whatever, subscribe. We will definitely be back, you know, in the new year, sometime January, February-ish, for season 7, which will be even grander and more epic and more fat than ever. So all right. Sorry, did you have any last words before I close it off, or?
No, I think I think that's a good way to wrap up. I think please do contact us. I know that this is the end of the season, but yeah, always love to hear from you. And so like I kind of stumbled through earlier, contact us, all those methods, whatever way you want. Yeah, we'll definitely write back, even if we're not on air for a little while.
Yeah. That's a very good point. We'll continue the conversation in between seasons. All right. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, be sure to email us at podcast.etc@gmail.com and follow us on Twitter at the ETC Podcast. You can also visit our official website and leave a voice message at anchor.fm/the-etc-podcast. The ETC Podcast is currently hosted on anchor.fm, but distributed to all your favorite podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, and many, many, many more. But as of now, that is pretty much it, guys, for season 6, episode 14. But that is the season finale, our holiday spectacular 2020. It's been an awesome year. Big thanks to everybody who's listened. Thank you, Aaron, for getting back on track here. You know, it's been really great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know it's been awesome. So thanks, everybody. Happy holidays. Stay safe. You know, do whatever it takes to have a happy holiday, happy and safe holiday. I don't know why I stuttered so many times there. It was going so smooth as always, but we got to end it sometime. We'll be back sometime in January or February of 2021 when we ring out 2020 as a crazy, crazy year. But thanks, everybody, for listening. That's it for now. We'll see you guys next year.
Happy New Year.